The Sacramento Kings have been a massive disappointment this season after being the 10th seed currently, only one game above the 11th seed Phoenix Suns. They went all in this year. They bought in. They signed DeMar DeRozan in free agency. They tried to build around De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, all of those guys, all to end up with Zach LaVine and a 10th struggling play-in team that will probably not make the playoffs. So, what is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and we've been consistent, man. We've been consistent. So all I ask for you guys is to drop a like if you enjoy my vibe, subscribe, do all that stuff, man. It helps me so much. Y'all don't even understand. And now let's get into the video. So ever since being the 3 seed a few years back and losing to the Warriors in the first round of the playoffs, the Sacramento Kings have never been the same. They've never been the light the beam Kings team that we saw those few years ago. And honestly, it's just kind of all been going downhill since. After a rough play-in exit last year, being one game away from a playoff seed, and now probably not going to even make the playoffs this year, I think it might be time for the Kings to question what their future is going to be like. And I'm sure you Kings fans are really scared about going back in the rebuild direction because before that one playoff run that they had, or that playoff appearance that they had, they have not made the playoffs in over 10 years. And I'm sure you guys are just scarred. You Kings fans are just scarred from that and don't want to go back the same path of rebuild and struggle and sorrow for another 10 years. So, you know, it is a struggle for you guys, but at some point you got to realize that the team that you have currently is not going to get it done and not going to win an NBA championship. And if the Kings were to start fresh, it would start with a Domantas Sabonis trade, as we got a tweet from NBA Central a few days ago saying Domantas Sabonis could request a trade if the Kings don't establish a clear direction this offseason. And the quote goes, "Many around the league are preparing for the possibility of the Kings becoming big sellers ahead of the 2026 NBA trade deadline next February, which would likely result in Sabonis requesting a trade should a clear direction not present itself." My bad. So this is basically meaning that by next year, if the Kings are still struggling, because this year their season's probably scrapped unless they have a crazy play-in and a crazy playoff run. The Kings don't really have a lot of promise this season. And if next year they don't have a clear direction again, Sabonis will most likely request a trade. And honestly, he could request a trade this free agency because who really knows what his mind is thinking right now, as the Kings don't really have a clear direction, and it makes sense. That's why Fox left. He didn't really like the direction they were going. They fired their head coach for the 5th time in 7 years or whatever it was. I forgot the stat it was. But, you know, Fox is fed up, and Sabonis might be next on that fed up list because the Kings have a bunch of old contracts. They have Zach LaVine, who's a good player, DeRozan, who are good players, but a team centered around Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis in this league, as the West is so tightly packed, like the West is so competitive, that's just not going to get it done in the West, in my opinion. And at some point, like I said earlier, you got to realize that it's time to blow it up again. And I feel bad for the Kings fans because they've gone through so much, like I said before. But, I mean, at some point, there just has to be a line that you draw and say, it's time to rebuild. As Sabonis is currently 28 years old, so you don't have time to wait. He's not young, but he's not old. He's right in the middle of his prime, and that's when, you know, players want to compete. And if you're the 10th seed consistently, back-to-back years now, you're a play-in team. And I don't know, man, it makes sense that Sabonis could, you know, request a trade. As you look at his contract, he's making money until the year 2027, 2028. And don't get me wrong, that money is well-deserved, but who knows, man, Sabonis could fall off. I'm not saying he will, but I mean, his numbers right now are elite. He's 19, 14, and 6. He's leading the league in rebounds. He's going insane. You could probably get so much back for him. But, you know, if you wait and hold on to him, as he gets older, his stats could drop and you could get less for him. Who really knows? So I feel like right now you can maximize his potential. I feel like you guys can mutually agree on a situation where you can send him off to a team that, like, he would thrive on, that he would like, and, you know, in return, the Kings would get a lot back in that package, right? I think I've been saying maximize potential, but I mean maximize his trade value. That's what I've been kind of getting at. So, I mean, right now is the perfect time, or this offseason is the perfect time to move on for Sabonis if you guys don't make, you know, noise in the playoffs or play in. And if you have another disappointing season, right? And, I mean, there's a lot of teams that would want Sabonis. Like, just looking now, I've been looking at the West and East standings, looking which teams would need a center. And on the East, I saw the Pistons. The Pistons could be a sneaky good team for Sabonis. They need a second star next to Cade Cunningham. And I feel like, you know, him and Sabonis could be a new, like, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, but even better, because I think Cade has potential to be better than Fox ever was. But who really knows? There we have the Magic, too. I feel like the Magic need a center. Obviously, they're a really good defensive team, and Sabonis is not the best defender, but I feel like he would slot in on that team perfectly because, you know, he brings a little bit of playmaking, he brings scoring. He would boost their offense up a lot, in my opinion. Him next to Paulo, you know, could be nasty work. It could be good. And then in the West, we have like the teams like the Lakers and the Warriors, which probably don't have enough cap space for Sabonis, but I mean, I feel like he could fit in well in their offenses too. Who really knows how that would work out, though. I don't really think the cap space would work there. But yeah, I'm saying there's a lot of teams that would want to have Sabonis on their roster, and I'm just saying the Kings would get a lot back for him. But yeah, man, just to kind of wrap up this video, Sabonis might request a trade for the Kings. It's likely. Kings fans, prepare yourself. And honestly, you guys shouldn't be too sad about it, Kings fans, because you could get a lot back. You could start, trending in a good direction. Even though your team is not going to be as good, you guys should start building a young core, building up with what you guys have. And I mean, I know it might hurt seeing Halliburton, even though Sabonis has been really well for you guys as well, seeing Halliburton thrive on the Pacers. But I mean, maybe you guys should rebuild and start building up from the drafts in the next few coming years if you get a lot of draft picks for Sabonis, because you got some draft picks for Fox. So you guys aren't in horrible position. There's a lot of teams that are way worse position than you guys, like the Suns, like the Mavericks. Maybe the Mavericks, we got to see how their injury history goes. There's a lot of teams that are in worse position than you guys, and I just think the Kings, if they start off fresh, maximize, Sabonis' trade value today, you guys could end up in a really good position in a few years. But yeah, y'all, that's about it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Sabonis potentially requesting a trade and where you would like to see him go. Comment it up down below. I like reading all your comments, even if it's hate, even if it's love, even if it's support, even if it's just dropping knowledge. I'll read it all. I'll respond to most of them. And make sure to like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And now we're out.